You said you were ready.
I wasn't. Our guest on this episode of the Ktown Connects podcast has been serving the Kenosha area with positive vibes and good eats for over a decade. From small business owner to DKI president and everything in between, we welcome and connect with...
Riki Tagliapietra.
Cue that music.
Kenosha, that great big busy town. Right in the middle of the USA, between the New York Harbor and the San Francisco Bay. Well, wonderful east, the beautiful west, that's the right place to be from. Singing so loud of it because we're so proud of it, Kenosha, my hometown. Give me a beer.
Welcome to the Ktown Connects podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Donnie.
And I'm Jason.
Hey, Jason, what's going on, my man?
You know, I had this crazy dream last night.
Wow, you still dream.
Yeah.
All my dreams have been dead for a while.
No, I had this crazy dream that I got served a pizza out of a fire truck.
Wow, maybe
Weirdest thing.
Ooh, dreams do come true.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll get to the bottom of that dream real soon.
Guess we'll see. And speaking of pizza, we're recording here at Luigi's Pizza Kitchen, located at 7531 39th Avenue. They're open Tuesday through Sundays. Give them a call at 262-694-6565. Order those pizza pies today.
And you can check out their full menu at luigispizzakenosha.com.
Follow us on all the social media outlets, including Facebook and Instagram. Drop us a review on Facebook or your favorite podcast player and help us spread the word about the hottest podcast in town.
The Ktown Connects podcast. That's the number one local podcast in the 53142 area.
Now, we were asked over the weekend by one of our friends about what makes us the number one podcast in the area.
I think we make it the number one podcast in the area.
What's the chart? The
Donnie Stancato charts.
Oh, okay. All
And
right.
speaking of the Donnie Stancato charts, still number one, Dropping Daisies.
Oh, on that
with
music chart.
Great theme song they gave us. Thank you, Amy and Danny, and the rest of the crew at Dropping Daisies. And hey, welcome aboard, Ricky.
Hey, guys.
How are you?
I'm spectacular. How are you?
Busy man these days.
There's something wrong with me. I fill my time no matter what it is, so at least some of it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to find out what makes you tick.
Oh, God.
So you grew up in Kenosha?
Yeah, my whole life.
What was your obsession as a child? Like, what were you, like a toys or a TV show or something that you were like obsessed about?
I was pretty hardcore into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so I was pretty sure I was going to be one at some point in my life.
I was very obsessed with them as well. I had all the action figures. I would go to Ace Hardware on 75th Street, and I would, in their basement, they had all the toys. I would go, I want this one. I want Slash or Michelangelo or Shredder.
This is about our guests, not about you.
I know. But when Corey Elijah was on, he talked about the Turtles, and we went on for about half hour about it.
Well, I was thinking, that was always the goal, grow up and be a Ninja Turtle. And I think I'm actually getting a little closer now that I have a moving vehicle that pizzas come out of.
Right.
You're getting there.
Ooh.
Baby steps.
Yep.
I think that's a next promo for you. You do a little Ninja Turtles in front of the fire truck serving the pizzas.
I'm pretty sure I'll do that poorly, but it'll be a lot of fun.
All right, speaking of pizzas, Ricky, what was the local pizzeria that was your family's go-to as a kid?
We were always in Pacino's when I was a kid. And my parents still go to Pacino's absolutely all the time.
Yeah.
Then I forgot about it because you rebel against your parents' pizza choices, whatever.
Yep.
And now I've got my family back on board as well. But I need variety. I eat a lot of pizza, and there's so much good pizza in Kenosha.
Yeah.
So did you grow up on this side of town, the west side, by Pacino's?
I grew up right in the center near what was McKinley Middle School.
Okay.
Now is K-Tech. So
All right.
we're just down the street from there. I don't know why my parents went to Pacino's so much.
Well, I
but
guess not too far. It's
It just became the pizzeria that we went to all the
Hey,
time.
that's the place to go.
We lived 2 blocks away from Ming Garden, but we ordered from Panda all the time. It was just like the spots that somehow became part of the family ritual. So
Yeah. So you attended the McKinley Elementary and Junior High, I assume?
Yep. Both of those, that's for sure.
What was your favorite subject in elementary school?
I was not a particularly good student, so I enjoyed history and science and math. I just didn't do a lot of the work related to it.
Yeah.
The concepts were fun. It is weird now. My daughter goes to K-Tech, and there's still like, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, but I still have weird school-related dreams every once in a while, and that like nightmarish environment in my dreams is still McKinley Middle School. So when I walk in for like conferences or anything, I recognize the stairways from like the dark moments of 3 a.m. Still a little bit of fear when I walk in there.
So you go back, you said you're kind of a rough kid. Did you ever shoplift or anything?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Did you ever get busted?
I was thinking about it while I was getting vaccinated recently that I'm actually still banned from that building for life at Shopko. That was the place we got busted.
Shopko was good at busting people. I got busted there as well.
I got busted there as well.
Yeah.
Because nobody was shopping there.
Right.
They knew if you came there, you were a shoplifter. It was pretty easy
Look
to
at
catch
these
you.
kids coming in. I was stealing packs of baseball cards.
Oh my God.
What did you get busted stealing?
One of our friends got busted. We brought a new guy, and he had some CDs in his pocket, and that got it. But we always, I was an entrepreneur early, even as in trouble. We would always get laser pointers and Tamagotchis and those things when they were popular, and I'd sell them at middle school.
Oh, there you go.
In fact, I paid off that ticket with my revenue from stolen goods. So hope my mom's not listening.
So what's the one secret you're still keeping from your mom?
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't think I've got a good one for that because I think it's really funny to mess with my mom. And on my 18th birthday, I had confession day because I consider the statute of limitations over.
Yeah.
And it was a rough day for her, but it was very funny for me. So I can't think of a thing she doesn't know yet.
Okay, you pretty much told her everything then, huh?
Yeah. I was not very nice to her and enjoyed her misery.
So you went to Bradford, I assume?
I actually went to Indian Trail. I was a second graduating class at Indian Trail.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was when it was not a high school. That's when we went to go bowling and play ping pong for gym, which is what got me. That's when they signed me up. They were like, you can do nerd stuff here, and you do not have to take your pants off for gym class.
Wow.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, Ian.
Well, how big was the class then? If you were the second graduating
I think there's about
class?
70 in our graduating class.
Wow.
So in the film Breakfast Club,
Oh,
there's 5 different types of high school students. There's the jock, the stoner, the princess, the nerd, and the head case. Which one were you?
Princess head case.
All right.
I don't know. I was pretty weird. I wore a lot of giant pants and a lot of brightly colored dyed hair.
Oh, those
and-
Jenkos?
Yeah, a lot of Jenkos, a lot of velour, velvety shirts for some reason. I don't know why. It was.
Is there any pictures for you?
Yeah, we're gonna need some of those.
There's some good ones out there. They are
wonderful.
top notch. Let me tell you.
Interesting.
So what was your first job then?
My very first job was the Piggly Wiggly on the south side. It was actually kind of a dick move on my dad's part. He was working there, and then he didn't want to work there anymore, and he literally said, like, hey, I don't want to work here, but my kid will. And just
Here's my
gave me
hours.
his job, and I had to go there. So
Did you get the good wage then? Since you
no,
were-
I was when I started there it was like $5.35 or something. Like it was not these miracle
So what were you,
7.25s.
16?
Yeah, 16 there. Actually, I take that back. That was my first real job. They paid me cash at the ice rink when I was 14 to run the
okay.
score clock for men's league games. So that was my first off the books job. So
Okay.
they're probably going to get a call from the IRS.
How'd you get around town? Did your parents drive you? Did you ride your bike? Or
I've always been a big bike rider. So
Okay.
yeah, I bought my bikes with the hard-earned cash from the ice rink, and then that was the transportation method all over town.
There you go. Yeah.
Got a couple stolen because I'm irresponsible. But
Oh, that happens. But yeah, that Piggly Wiggly right there on 80th and 22nd Avenue, they're all closed down. That's a shame.
it's a little sad. We went through in the last couple days, and I showed my kid around all the secret. There's a tunnel underneath that building you can take from the front to the back.
Oh,
Wow.
I
I
did not
used
know
to,
that.
me and one other guy hold the record for the fastest time climbing through the ceiling across the store on the shift. I was able to go up and down all 11 aisles in a wheelie on the wheelchair.
Wow.
So those are the skills I learned.
Very
working at
good.
Piggly
Very
Wiggly.
good. All right, Ricky, were you ever suspended from school?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Oh, nice. What'd you do?
It was always like dumb stuff. I wish I had like some cool like violent stories, but I got suspended once for turning the ranch dressing blue.
Oh.
A kid ratted me out for a Snickers bar. It's a real story. Matt Schuler, if you're listening. We stole
Wait, how'd you turn the ranch dressing blue?
just food coloring. It wasn't that bad. It was
okay.
like it's pretty simple, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not a mean thing to do. But the school officer at the time thought it was funny, and he said he was going to arrest me for vandalism for vandalizing the ranch dressing.
Oh.
Unless we can go back to Jinko's, I had a dress code for a week, so I had to wear shirts and ties to school for a week just to make him chuckle to get out of my ranch dressing vandalism ticket. Now, as an adult, I realize it's a pretty not serious offense that he was probably not going to be able to make stick.
Oh,
But-
that is so good.
yeah, that was probably the best one. A lot of silly stuff. We threw a kegerator in the high school parking lot, but teachers didn't know it was root beer, so it was like a whole to do. I thought I was very funny in most of my life, and most of the times teachers didn't agree with me.
Yeah.
Although
But they probably look back now and they're like, that guy was funny.
our dean, Mr. Delahante, we had the same last day. He was leaving the school forever. It was my last day of school. And he called me down to the office, and he's like, hey, I just want to take a minute and let you know that, it was a real pain in my ass, but honestly, I thought most of that shit was pretty funny. And I was like, I knew it. And then he followed it up with, and if you return the fire extinguishers by the end of the day, we won't press charges.
That's good.
So how about graduation? Did you attend your graduation ceremony?
I did not, but that's because I did graduate from Ruther. I left Indian Trail and went from attempting to maybe not graduate to graduating early because Ruther is pretty cool about making that work for you.
Jason, you went to Ruther?
I did go to Ruther, yeah.
Accelerated learning. I just went through and pounded through, 2 years of high school in 6 months.
Yeah, it's either you succeed or you're a drug addict when you go to Ruther.
You can do both if you really want to. At Ruther. That's the benefit.
That's dedication.
Yeah, you can find success tailored to anybody. But no, I also skipped that because I didn't think it was cool.
Yeah. So your first summer after you graduate, what were your plans at the time? What were you doing?
Plans. That's pretty good.
or what were you doing for fun, though?
God, I don't even know. Mm-hmm. I think mostly what I've done my whole life is riding bikes and getting myself into trouble.
Okay.
But
because your whole future was in front of you, You're fresh out of Ruther,
It's a long time before I thought a future was a real thing, to be honest with you. So, I went to Gateway pretty quickly. Took all the psychology classes they offered because I was convinced that was going to benefit me in some way. And then, later those didn't matter towards anything that I went for. But it was a lot of fun. I learned some cool stuff. Got to know Professor Sloan before I met him at bars.
Oh, good old Sloan, yeah.
So that's the first investment that I made in that decision.
So how old were you when you went to Gateway? Was that right away? Or how school did you wait?
19
okay.
when I went the first time to Gateway.
Were you still at the Piggly Wiggly?
I was still at the Piggly Wiggly.
Okay.
So then what made you just like, I'm done with Gateway. I'm done.
So
was it booze? Was it a woman?
No, it was a woman. Yeah.
It always is.
I was dating my high school girlfriend who went and joined the Marine Corps, and so was in California. So instead of going to school, I just went to California a bunch and back.
Oh, okay.
And that, looking back, was a terrible investment of time. But
I'm coming this weekend.
I did get to drive 130 miles an hour a lot because we were always in a hurry, and that was pretty cool. But yeah.
Through Nebraska, maybe?
Yeah, through basically every state that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No offense, Nebraska.
So, what inspired you then when you were, you're road tripping to California and you're doing all this? What clicked for you? You're like, I gotta go to school to be a cop, or what made you?
So, like I said, I was working as an artist at a stained glass studio in Lake Geneva for a few years, and that was pretty cool job. Might have done that forever, but it was the first time gas hit $4, and being an artist doesn't pay a lot of money. I was like, I cannot continue to spend my whole paycheck driving to my job.
Yeah.
My dad worked at Kenosha Hospital for basically his whole life, and was like, I'm work down here. So started working in housekeeping, which is a glamorous position, by the way, in the emergency room.
Oh, very nice.
But in like 30 days down there, I met a bunch of people, and they were like, hey, you should do more stuff. Picked up a security gig. And that was pretty cool.
So wait, you're in housekeeping in the ER.
Yeah.
What was the messiest incident you had to clean up?
I didn't really. So in the housekeeping aspect, I didn't generally know the cause of the mess, but there were definitely some pretty rough situations that left a lot of things to be cleaned up afterwards. Luckily, I was first shift at the time, though.
Okay.
So they were few and far between. It was mostly just like old ladies that were angry.
You
about
weren't
stuff.
sweeping up needles or anything.
No, I didn't sweep any needles. I cleaned up a lot of like bodily fluids, though.
Ooh,
that's for
Clean
sure.
up blood off the ceiling tiles and things like that?
Never the ceiling tiles. A second shift probably, but I was out of housekeeping then.
Yeah, okay.
But I ended up, you end up talking to a lot of people in different situations there, right? Like you're either there for the worst moment of your life or because you need help or something's going on. I am spending a lot of time cleaning or whatever in between talking to people, especially, there's always somebody hammered down there or detoxing or what's going on. Now I spend my whole life dealing with people in recovery and it's easier for me to have that conversation than turning to security, which is basically that same gig. I just hung out with people in the worst situations they've ever been in and talked to them until it worked out and got to avoid most fights by just sitting around having a conversation.
Hey, there you go.
Met a few cops at that time that I thought, it's an interesting time to talk about this, but even then, it's a difficult industry, right? There's several paths that lead to policing, and some of them maybe aren't great, and some of them are people who really want to make a difference. And I knew a lot of really good cops who wanted to make a difference, and they told me that would be a good idea for me to do as well. And it was like, all right, cool. Same thing like the ER. don't know, I'm super ADD. Different thing to do every day. It was
Yeah.
the idea of a different challenge to face and different problem to solve and being able to interact with people. I was like, oh yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that led to a criminal justice path, which didn't.
So why didn't it pan out? What was?
So you went back to Gateway then to try and look
I went
into
back to
criminal
Gateway,
justice.
and then I applied with KPD as I was finishing up. And while I was in,
How long is the program for that at Gateway? Is it 2 years?
2-year program.
Yeah. Okay.
and
Should
I
I
made
throw
it.
in my hairdresser joke?
Oh God.
No. Okay.
What's your hairdresser? Oh, you have
That
to.
you got to go to school longer to be a hairdresser than to be a cop.
That's there are required hours for that. Yeah. I applied for KPD before I graduated and went through their whole process. And I made it to the top 10 applicants, which was pretty cool.
Very nice.
And in that last 2 weeks, my favorite restaurant closed down where I'd done all my studying, and I stupidly bought it.
And which one was that?
That was the Nook.
And where was the Nook located for people who might not know?
I'm on 6th Avenue, right where Gordon's is now.
Gordon's, okay.
Yeah, next to SJ Crystal's. So, I finished up school while running that and doing my last interviews, but that's where everything that's where life clicked, and I realized that the restaurant business was all those things I thought I was going to find out of policing, but in a much more pleasant and less difficult way.
You usually don't have people shooting at you.
Yeah, I get to have the part where I get to interact with people and make the day better, influence their
Right.
life through flavor and conversation. No day has been the same in 11 to 12 years of doing this, and at the same time, I as it transitioned to the bar business, instead of dealing with drunks all night long, I usually send them there for somebody else to deal with, which is
There you
kind of
go.
nice.
So how long was the Nook open when you took it over?
I was the third owner of the Nook.
wow.
It had been open, I don't know, a couple of years at that point.
Okay.
But it was a really cool concept that maybe was a little too early.
Yeah, I always say nowadays if the Nook was around, it would be killing it.
Yeah, and it did well. I mean, I was also, I was young and only had so much money to do it, but I took everything I had, took over somebody else's lease, somebody else's loan, that if I could ever go back with the business knowledge I have now, I definitely would have renegotiated. And we made a pretty good run of it. The heat actually went out, and the landlord was unwilling to fix it. It was a $20,000 repair. So
So that pretty much put the kibosh.
we went as long as we could on electric heaters in the bathrooms before the pipes froze, and we were like, all right, that's it, we're
Wow.
done. Worst business decision of my life, but I would never take it back. I learned a lot about this industry, and it's like I said, it's how I figured out what my purpose really is.
Do you think you'll ever bring it back?
No, I don't know. It'd be fun. I think that is a foundation for something else.
Okay.
As we developed the Buzz, the Grease and Honey, it was a big inspiration for that. Obviously different, and the Nook was the right thing for the right people at the right time. And I'm not sure that motley crew could ever be exactly in the same place again because it was so inclusive. We had did one of the earlier open mics in the city, but it was not alcohol related, and it was an open environment. I mean, we had everybody from some of the first transgenders I met in Kenosha to autistic kids to Liam, who plays classical guitar at every open mic now, when he was first learning, knew like two chords, to Rogers Randall just destroying everybody with the sax. It was just such a cool environment that again, I'm not sure with the way that the city has grown could be possible to recreate. And I don't know if I want to. I think it exists timelessly there.
I agree, because I have so many great memories of it, and I don't want those memories ruined. Right?
Yeah. It's like it'd be like making a sequel, and I don't think it'd be as good.
Yeah, right.
And you guys, you're right. You were very, very first in the arts downtown. I mean, there was a lot of arts going on in downtown, but you spearheaded it. You had them painting the ceiling tiles, and
it was really inclusive, and the people that were involved made it what it was. And that doesn't mean employees. It does as well, but our customers were just as much part of that. And people that were sitting there every day shaped what that environment was in such a cool way. And everybody was an artist or had something really interesting going on or was a musician. It just became like, all right, well, this is what we do on Tuesdays now because you're here anyway. Let's have some fun and make it happen.
it was one of the hippest places in downtown Kenosha at the time. It really was.
It was a good time.
And when did the Nook close down then? What year was that?
December 2010? 2011? What year is it now?
2021.
I want to say December 2010, and I think I started with Grease and Honey in March of 2011. That makes sense.
Okay. I think we're going to take our first break, and we'll be right back for what happens next after the Nook.
I can't wait.
Right after this.
And we're back from that fantastic break. Thank you to our sponsors for that. Hey, Jason, what's going on this week in Kenosha?
Well, it's Independence Day weekend. We have lots of activities going on. Downtown Kenosha lights up on Saturday and Sunday, July 3rd and 4th with Celebrate America. Come downtown and enjoy live music, great food, a carnival, and more. Be sure to stick around for the great fireworks on July 4th.
You can also see the fireworks from Kemper Center. They kick off their backyard blast on July 4th at 6501 3rd Avenue. And you can check out the Kenosha Pop concert at the Panora Park Bandshell at 3601 7th Avenue, kicking off at 4 p.m. on the 4th of July.
If you missed that Pops concert on the 4th, you can see them on Wednesday, July 7th at 7 p.m. over at the Bandshell.
The Kenosha Kingfish have a few home games next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, July 6th and 7th. They take on the Rockford Ribbits at 6 p.m. Go Kingfish!
Next Thursday, July 8th, the Peanut Butter and Jam concert series kicks off with Sparks Fly, a Taylor Swift cover band.
Ooh, my favorite.
They're performing 2 shows at Veterans Memorial Park, 54th Street and 6th Ave at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m.
On Friday, July 9th, the 49th annual Rotary Softball Tournament kicks off at Lincoln Park.
Also on Friday, July 9th, bring the kids some chairs and some bug spray out to Pets Park for movie night with The Great Outdoors starring John Candy and Dan Aykroyd.
Love that movie. And next Saturday, July 10th, stop by the CarBox at 1750 22nd Avenue for their summer parking lot party from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Enjoy food, drinks, bouncy house, jousting, raffles, free CarBox merchandise, and more.
Wow. So I think we're going to try this whole new what's going on in Kenosha.
Yeah,
kinda.
I mean, why not?
Well, it's easy in the summertime because lots going on. When it comes
Right.
February, be like, what's going on this weekend?
yeah,
There's one guy outside. You're going to be shoveling a bunch.
So we're here with Riki Tagliapietra.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Hey,
nailed
thanks,
it.
thanks.
Nailed it.
I've been working on it all day.
All right, so Ricky, you closed up shop at the Nook.
Yeah.
A sad day for you. So then, what were you contemplating? What do I do next? What were you thinking?
So I knew Paul from being my landlord, and as a customer of the Nook, and they offered me a gig hanging out bartending for them, which turns out bartending was way easier than running a restaurant.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
And they paid me a bunch more money, so that was pretty neat.
Oh, so you're just bartending at Sassy Bees?
Yeah, they just said, "Hey, we need a bartender," and I was like,
Was it Sassy Bees at the time, or
Yeah,
was
they took over. Is that the same month that the Nook opened? So,
Okay.
So for 10 months, I was above them and running the Nook, and they were getting coffee, and I was not ever able to get out of the restaurant in time to eat food by them. But then, joined them, and just as a bartender,
And then from there, you just boom.
then I lived the restaurant life since then forever.
Let's hear some of the craziest bar stories from your early.
Well, so you got pulled into the Grease and Honey group, which started as just Sassy Bees.
Yeah, I mean they
That
had
expanded.
Pazzo first,
Oh, okay.
and then Sassy opened. That's when I came.
Pazzo
to
is where the Downtowner Saloon is
Correct.
right
Yep,
now,
yep.
7th and 56th there.
sponsor reference.
Of course.
And so I ended up working with them at Sassy, working a bit at Pazzo, and then as this kind of the Grease and Honey situation developed after Pazzo had closed, and we started adding more places where you get information about food, restaurants, to that group.
Okay.
So then you're bartending and you're kind of working your way up the ladder with them, correct?
Yeah, accidentally. Like I said, there's something wrong with me, and I don't know how to have free time. So instead of just making a bunch of money and slinging drinks a couple nights a week, it turned into, hey, your website's kind of garbage. Maybe let me do
I
it.
see you opened your mouth, right?
Yeah, and then I did that to
myself.
myself. Basically, that's the story of everything that I've ever
And
done.
Paul and
now.
Victor were running it all at the time, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then you're moving up the ladder with them, and then they open up the Buzz and all this. Was the Buzz? Did you influence the Buzz opening? Was that kind of almost your idea, or was it a mixture of all?
It was a
ideas?
mixture, definitely. I mean, Paul is a super creative guy. Obviously, we've been working together really closely. They knew Nook stuff. We also went to visit a bunch of. We did a lot of research trips to all of our favorite places and tried to find a way to kind of bring that together. So it became, I'd say part Nook in the sense that we served coffee and paninis and tried to make it a welcoming environment, but also clearly much more oriented towards being a business than what the Nook was. So that was beneficial overall.
Okay.
So then you just kind of you grew from bartender, and then what was your title?
Honestly, I think my titles just got made up every time that there was new. It was like, hey,
Ricky.
do you want to do more work and make less money? And I was like, yeah, let's come up with a name for that. So yeah, I don't know if everyone called me a bar manager. I think I just did the things until we ended up getting to that part. I think when I took over Pozzo as well, we came up with this director of operations title, basically.
My boss is known for coming up with nice fake titles for me. I'll tell you that much. I know how that works.
Yeah, it was basically like, hey, well, people keep asking what I do. What should I tell them?
Right. All right, so the 8 Bits has started is trying to open up during the pandemic. You're managing the whole restaurant, all of them, and then you decided to part ways. Do you want to fill us in on that a little bit? Because you moved on to bigger and better things, so to speak.
I mean, definitely different. I'll say that the pandemic was very difficult in this industry.
And by the way, before we go, the way that you were promoting the businesses during the pandemic, the Grease and Honey, you did a fantastic job.
Thanks.
I mean, you should be very proud of yourself.
We definitely pivoted real hard, and it was up there and hardest I've ever worked in my life. But we were able to. I mean, obviously we didn't do the same numbers we would if we were open, but we stayed competitive, and with a staff of 10 delivering food around the country.
Yeah, because you would deliver the food yourself.
Yeah, but you know what was great about that was when nobody was on the roads and there was like it was like anarchy. It was like the Wild West. I was able to deliver like 100 miles an hour and nobody cared. Yeah. That's the one thing I might miss about early pandemic. But yeah, that was pretty hard. I think it changed a lot about the industry and a lot about the people in it.
And probably your thought process as well of what you're doing and how you're being treated and all that stuff.
Yeah, it exposed cracks in the industry and darker parts of situations that I thought I needed a break from. So obviously I didn't stay out of it too long, but it was time to do something a little more positive, and then Kenosha.com was that super opportunity.
So you decided to move on from Grease and Honey. You put the elbow grease with Grease and Honey for so many years, and you decided to move on to something else that you're passionate about, positive news.
Yeah, it's almost eerie how much I worked. Like I interviewed for a position with a news company, and I was like, I have no idea. I don't know anything about the news.
Yeah,
I have no idea what that means. I've spent my whole life saying exactly what I think, so I'm not really good at what I imagine news is.
So they contacted you for this?
They knew that I was leaving my position, so they set up a meeting with me and Jim Gorley, who I'd never even heard of before.
I heard he's got a ton of money.
I've heard that as well, but he's also like the nicest, most unassuming guy. So as much as I know that's the case, I don't think you'd ever know. Maybe that's why I probably met him 20 times. I had no idea. He's just like this guy.
Served him some drinks or
he's
something.
He's kind of just like he's like the Kenosha the dude. To be honest, he's got a very chill, laid back attitude. Sat in a room and I was like, I need a job. And then he explained to me this idea that, basically he doesn't need to pay his mortgage. He wants to have a legacy product. He made all his money doing things that are super cool, making flooring and building things for all these chain stores around the country, hanging out with Kenneth Cole, which I didn't even know was a real person until he told me that. I thought that was just a brand. And but the idea was to have something that is simply to be done because it needs to be done, not because people are trying to buy a product. And basically told me he wanted to give me a job to talk about the community that I know and love in a positive light. And I was like, yeah, I can definitely do that. And
so Kenosha.com is all positive news.
All positive news.
And then
I will say like neutral to positive.
Okay. No political anything.
No politics, no crime. We should say no COVID in that, but I think we're past that point. But,
okay.
So yeah, we won't allow any political advertisement.
And what is your official label at Kenosha?
Another made up title.
Oh,
they came up with Director of Digital Success.
Oh, okay.
So the nice thing about made up labels is that it doesn't really limit to what you do. You just do all the things that make sense with a computer now. So yeah, I work with all of we're sponsor funded, so we don't charge anyone to read our information. We charge people to put their brand next to it and kind of get some going. So I deal with all those people, which is kind of fun because it's also, we only do local sponsorship. So I just talk to people that I already knew in other businesses.
Sounds familiar, huh?
Yeah. And then I think the youngest person on staff, so I do all the social media and yeah, I don't know, whatever comes up, just make it happen. I've got some web design experience, so they tapped me on that early on.
And then what you're really going for now, you do your Kenosha Eats.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
Yeah, can you explain that to our listeners? This is always fun to see.
Yeah, I am not a journalist, and I'm not.
You play one on the internet, though.
Yeah. They were like, "Do you want to write about stuff?" And I was like, well, "I don't write, but I know food. Like, I'd gladly do it." It's pretty cool to be able to just walk into somewhere and talk about the thing they do the best and tell somebody about it.
Have you had an experience yet where you went to a place, and you don't have to give any names, of course, but it was just like, oh, this is horrible. This is crap. I'm just going to pretend like I never even walked through these doors.
Only positive.
It happened one time, and I'm not going to say where it happened because I'm going to go back. I'm going to assume that it was but it was one of those moments where I was trying real hard. I was out with Janelle, and I was like, well, I could say this. She's like, no one will ever believe anything you ever say. If you say something positive and they come here, this is what it's like. I was like, you're right. I'll just do something else this week.
All right. Well, we enough about Kenosha.com. Let's move on. We got 2 more big topics to talk to you about.
2?
Yeah.
So one sounds like a surprise.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
2.
All right.
One.
You're the DKI. You're the president of DKI,
Yeah, I forgot that's a
and
thing.
we have your Ktown Foods to talk about. But let's dive a little deep in this DKI. So you're the downtown Kenosha president.
Yeah, or chair or whatever wants to make it seem less official.
Pretty rough couple weeks for you. You've been president for what, about 7-8 months now, I think.
It feels like about 6 years, but yeah, something like that.
Now, is this a paid position or is this?
No.
Okay.
No, this is a volunteer position.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. But I
Yeah.
just want to make sure, clarify that.
I've been on DKI board for, I don't know, again, time is irrelevant at this point when you're this busy, but several to many years, I don't know. My heart is in downtown Kenosha, so trying to find a way to give back to that. And then the way that board works is you eventually progress into this chairmanship. The president before me resigned, so I got to get thrust in pretty hard.
Are you ready? Go.
Yeah, in a fun post 2020 unrest, COVID, and rebuilding situation.
So what is that job, so to speak, entitled for?
Like normally it's like kind of just leading meetings and it should be kind of fun and directing where our initiatives go. Right now it is a full-time answering the phone and several hundred emails a day situation now that we are staffless. But
right, yeah, there was a little shake-up. We won't go too far into it, but
Well, the executive director, Alex Bonatti, is no longer
no longer
involved.
there. So now you're pretty much taking the brunt of it. All you have to delegate more things out to people.
And not just, luckily we have a really active and engaged board. Everyone that joined the board this year is all downtown business owners, which is, we were lacking a few, so I'm glad we built that up. And then we've got Gretchen Cavelli as our coordinator, who is also, I'd probably be dead if she wasn't.
Yeah, because she's still on staff.
Yeah, and she has just been phenomenal, taking up everything we can. But we didn't expect a resignation, and it's got to move on and still make it happen. So we've got a few irons in the fire that have to be finished up, and then we'll start beginning a hiring process. I think we're gonna do it a little differently this time and involve some other organizations.
You're gonna be working with the city on this?
Yeah, we're gonna have some city representation on a hiring committee, as well as Visit Kenosha and our funding arm, which is the bid board.
Okay, perfect.
Just so that the next person that comes in that role is invested in by the community they have to work with, rather than having to work with people they don't really know or don't understand why they're in that position.
So you've been downtown for a long time. Why do you think it's so hard for DKI to keep somebody as a director? I mean, I'm at the top of my head, where we go through 6 of them.
We've had so many in the past.
I think it's like 5, but honestly, we've been talking about this a lot as well, and even with the new city employee Tim Casey has got a ton of Main Street experience, so we talked to him a little bit, and with Wisconsin Main Street has been trying to navigate this, but honestly, it's not uncommon for that position. It is a position that often either steps people up or steps people out. You either walk into that position and fail and don't make it, or you walk into that position, you succeed, and you move on to something else. So basically what, Aaron Welty of Wisconsin Main Street was telling us is this is normal. We shouldn't feel so terrible about it. But also I'd love to just have a staff member that stayed longer. And we've had many people move on to the next chapter in their life. And, it'd be nice to see, Alex moved on. She's got a restaurant she's opening up. We've got people that are getting other things going on. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know that position will ever be someone's end of the line.
I got to ask you a question, Ricky.
Yeah.
You claim that you always use honesty and integrity with your questions, things like that. So
this is a rough start.
Yeah, well, because you can't play the political side on this and take sides because you are the president of DKI. But we've heard complaints from many other business owners that DKI is non-essential, that it's not needed in downtown, that the bid board is pretty much capable of doing the same job that DKI could do. What's your response to those critics?
I would be glad to answer that question. I don't know that won't end up someday being the case, because the bid board is in this last year actually become involved. But until this point, the bid board has been a meeting 4 times a year disbursement arm for DKI. And I will say that no matter what the change is, it is not possible for any organization to do it without a paid staff, and I'm learning that the very hard way this week. Volunteers will never be able to meet the full-time situation that we have. So where DKI comes in as necessary for right now and for why it's always been developed is that the bid as a tax-funded organization cannot be a 501(c)(3).
Okay.
So they can't be a national Main Street or Wisconsin Main Street organization. So in order to access Main Street funding, resources, and support, you have to have a secondary arm. Additionally, DKI, when functioning really well, generates, I would say, another 40% of the revenue outside of the bid. So that also still comes into downtown and makes a more positive
And that's
impact.
from
fundraising, especially things like what I would say is our most impactful thing in the last few years is the facade grant program. You see downtown's face has changed a lot this year, and then obviously giving out everything we could to everyone affected by COVID and by Unrest. It would not be possible with a volunteer board.
Yeah, it needs a paid position. You're right.
Right. So I think that for a long time, DKI has absolutely been the right way to go, and I don't know that will change anytime soon, but it would have to still turn into a managing organization with a paid staff because, as I've seen, I work with the bid board all the time, and they have this year, this new bid board is the most involved I've ever seen, and I love it. It is actually fun to show up and answer hard questions because someone actually asks them instead of just complaining them about it later. We get to have conversations and shape the initiatives that we're looking for. Like we're planning 2022 right now with bid. And, we have the same conversations we've had for the last 20 years, but we're having them before we have to make a call instead of after something happens.
So the mayor is not going to kill DKI, is he? That's the hot rumor going around.
No, he without getting myself in trouble.
Right.
He is very supportive of our current plans for transition.
Oh, perfect. Wonderful.
Especially the idea, he volunteered Tim Casey to be on our selection board, and we had a very long conversation about the development of DKI, what he envisions that it does well and what he envisions it does poorly.
Okay, I have a question about the funding thing. Following the unrest last year, our President Trump announced that he's going to provide $1 million to Kenosha law enforcement and nearly $4 million to the small businesses in Kenosha that burned down.
Yeah, he said it right to my face.
To the best of your knowledge, as DKI president and past owner of 2 businesses, or past manager, which were vandalized, have you seen any of that money come to the community?
Beyond just that involvement, I can tell you that none of that money was, so what he was referring to was money that was already given out for COVID relief and was actually tagged specifically not to be able to use for unrest. So political side, I'll take money from anybody. I don't have a political stance, and that's why I went and I met with the president and I asked for money. Because our community was hurting and we still need a lot to rebuild. What was said in that meeting was at best a confusing thing related to what wasn't true, and at its face it was a complete lie. I've reached out several times. I sent a letter personally that was hand delivered on Air Force One. We've got some friends that work for the organization, and we did not receive a response. And I will be honest, I also reached out to this new administration. I said, if you want to make a wrong right and you're looking for something positive to get you Biden lost Kenosha County. Everybody has a side, right? When we were on Facebook, we're in these groups, and everybody's either Democrat, Republican, liberal, whatever. When it comes down to it, Kenoshans are Kenoshans, and if people will help our community get better, that's what we really need. So that's where I'll sit in a room with literally anybody. If you can help us get what we know will help us recover from what was not what represents our city and show the world who we really are.
I mean, there was some funding brought in for the civil unrest.
Yeah,
correct?
A lot from the state. I know the city got some federal funding as well, but that specific money said out loud.
Do you think
the Trump money?
Do you think that was evenly distributed among the businesses?
I mean, I know the only thing I can
to the best of your knowledge.
The only thing I can really speak for is the money we generated.
Okay.
And that was, I'm pretty proud of the way we did distribute, because we tried to, Uptown didn't really have much of a representation, and we've taken a lot of flack for actually doing something outside of our bid district, right? We're not supposed to help Uptown. We're not supposed to participate in anything else. We're supposed to be a downtown organization, but when we're getting 200 calls a day with people trying to give money, what are we going to say? No.
Right.
So, and my personal stance on that, and it was fun conversations of, I live pretty close to Uptown, but I don't live in Uptown, and I've spent a few dollars in Uptown. Not enough to make any decisions about Uptown.
Yeah.
So it was get a committee together of people that are involved in both communities and let somebody else besides our boards and besides our people decide where this goes based on need. Because I I cannot tell Uptown what's best for them.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what I think is great for downtown, it's not the same community.
Right.
So I think we did a good job of creating a group of people who were not related to our board and our fundraising effort to distribute that funds. That was the best way I could think of to figure it out.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's move on to your newest.
Oh, this is fun stuff. These are less pressing, difficult questions.
All right. Ktown Foods.
Yeah.
Now tell us about this. This is very fascinating. You have a fire truck? What?
Yeah, that happened. So Ktown started. I mean, admittedly, I got out of the restaurant business, but I also know it's like my passion. So
Right. You love it, right?
Yeah, we immediately started kind of this side hustle with making some homemade pastas and the plan was always, start a brand. We'll have a recognizable brand. In a few years, we want to do something a little more serious and take some time off.
Mm-hmm.
So Ktown, Tagliapietra literally translates to cut stone. I knew I sure couldn't name a business Tagliapietra and expect people to know where it was.
Can you say that again for me?
Tagliapietra.
Riki Ktown.
Yeah. So, in the interest of people being able to type a web address in, we just went with the English translation. And then I'd been looking for a brick oven pizza truck for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a few companies that did some custom builds, and the idea was, next summer we'll get moving on it and start looking on websites though when you're a couple beers in and checking out used stuff. And as we are like an email list, we're getting an email every day with 50 food trucks around the country for sale, and all of them are not what you care about.
Yeah.
But then also we got this email, and one of the 50 was this fire truck.
Wow.
So we should probably go look at it.
You live in the city here. Where do you park this thing when you're not using it?
Do the police listen to your podcast?
I don't think so.
Luckily, our neighbors are really cool.
Okay.
So we have a private lot that we can park it on. We was the first thing we arranged, but it is much more convenient to have it close to home when we want to get some work done on it.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
it lives in front of our house right now. It doesn't fit in the driveway by about 6 inches, so don't tell anybody. Podcast world.
So you got to buy all your neighbor. You got to make them some pizzas.
I have met.
There you go.
I mean, we live in a reasonably sized small neighborhood, but I have met 100 neighbors I didn't know I had since we had the fire truck. Especially doing work on it. To get to the engine, you have to lift the whole cab up. So I was under there one day for what should have been an hour job, and it took me 4 hours because every person was like, "What are you doing?" So yeah, our neighbors are more excited that there's a fire truck in the neighborhood than mad that we're parking our food truck there.
Cool.
I'm not sure how long that'll last. If they're listening down the road, we should probably call and tell them to get rid of it.
So you serve fresh pasta and pizzas, correct?
Yeah. So like I said, the business started with pasta. So we literally make everything from Italian flours, eggs, and
you always make everything the night before when your food truck's out. So everything is as fresh as can be.
yeah, it's actually really silly. It is not what I would say is an economically viable restaurant position, but we're really proud of the food we put out. So
Yeah, and I've had it, and I can say it is the best pizza I've ever had. I'm sorry, Rob from Villa de Carlo and Dana from Kaiser's, but Ricky, your pizza is fantastic.
which is very different. Like I love Kenosha pizza, but this is traditional Neapolitan Italian pizza.
Okay.
So super airy crust. It is almost not comparable to what we have here. Like I still order Kaiser's and Villa probably every week. But it's just what I'm used to when I go visit family in Italy. This is the pizza that we have there. It's fun to bring that home, but it is labor intensive. It's a full day of prep for every half day of service.
I know when I went down and saw you were down on 55th Street and 5th Avenue.
Yeah, that's our new super secret fun home.
Every Saturday you're going to be.
Can we find you this weekend for Independence Day weekend?
Yeah,
You gonna be around?
We will be there on Saturday for Independence
Okay.
Day weekend.
But not do anything on Sunday?
We're gonna hang out with the kid on Sunday. We're gonna watch the fireworks and do some
There you
family
go.
time.
Yeah, relax a little bit. You deserve it after all the work you've been doing.
I mean,
Also, my kid's gonna kill me if we're just always on the fire truck. She thinks it's cool right now, but same thing like the neighbors. We gotta play it cool.
It's going to get real boring to her. Oh, we're going on the fire truck again.
We make her work now, so it's less fun.
So what are your hours you're out there on Saturday?
We do from 10 till 3. We get there about 8, but it takes 2 hours to heat the oven up, so we start
Okay.
about 10 o'clock.
This is a wood oven? You have to throw
Yeah, we really cook it with oak. Actually, we did some ash this week, which worked out really well, luckily, because all the ash trees in our area got destroyed, so those are plantable. Yeah.
How'd you learn to bring enough wood to last that long?
Everything has been an experiment.
Yeah.
I started this. I have a tiny little one pizza at a time oven in my driveway. I got for a Christmas present a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
It works off pellets. So that's how we got started in our perfecting recipes and playing.
All right.
But this thing is a whole nother animal, that's for sure. Luckily, the fire truck has a lot of storage, so I can bring like a whole tree.
Do you ever just take your daughter out for ice cream? Like you drive the fire truck to Dairy Queen or something?
She likes to take neighborhood rides.
Okay.
We normally, before we had the fire truck, we take a tandem around the neighborhood, and everyone we know that has a house she wants to like stop and wave at, and that's turned into driving the fire truck to the neighborhood and honking the horn, which is a little funnier because you watch everyone you know just like pop up in their window super excited because it really is you cannot help but be a little kid when this fire truck pulls up in your house.
Sure. Does the siren work?
No, so they took the siren out. We got lights. But we're not allowed to use them on city streets, so we never do.
Oh, no.
Ever.
No.
Especially not in the neighborhood when we want to mess with my parents. But no siren. We did learn the hard way that we cannot leave the lights on at events because it kills the battery, and I had to live. Our first day downtown. I didn't plug the truck in before we went, so the battery was dead in the morning. I had to jump start it with my car, which if you want to see something silly, try to jump start a fire truck. Got down to the event, and then I only drove right there in panic, and then it was dead again. So I'm sitting there with a generator plugged in, and then got home, and I learned that you have to lock the refrigerator in a food truck because there was 8 quarts of braised beef ragu all over the fire truck.
Oh, no.
So we learned a lot of really important lessons day one. Right. We're significantly better at this now.
All right, and that's Ktown Foods. You can find it at cutstownfoods.com. You can order pasta as well from that website.
For pickup.
And you can visit them every Saturday on 55th Street and 5th Avenue. Mm-hmm. Go check out the best pizza and pasta in town.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. And with that, we'll take our second break.
All right, we'll be right back. And we're back from that great break. Fantastic break.
Yeah, and what a break it was.
What a break. And now it's time for
our Quick Connects. And our Quick Connects is brought to you by the Downtowner Saloon.
Mosey on over to the Downtowner Saloon, 707 56th Street, for mouth-watering Southwest-inspired foods made in their scratch kitchen.
The Downtowner Saloon offers up memorable briskets, original rubs, and that great smoked meat.
Stop on by this summer and enjoy a meal or a cold drink on their spectacular rooftop patio overlooking the bustle of downtown. Avoid
the typical restaurant food and stop in at the Downtowner Saloon for something different. They are located at 707 56th Street. Yee-hoo! I'll see you there, Jason.
All right. And now we're back here with Riki Tagliapietra, and we are going to...
Nailed it!
We're going to get to know him a little bit more, have some fun with our Quick Connects questions.
Are you ready for the Quick Connect?
No, not even close, but let's just do it.
All right. Favorite park in Kenosha?
Ooh, I like Peorio Park, actually.
Which one's that?
It's like a secret little nature preserve, north side. I don't know how to get to it from the bike path. So I'll say like 18th Street and somewhere near the bike path.
Okay, all right.
There's like a baseball field, but then attached to it is this, there's like a little park and a pavilion. But you can go back into this little nature preserve, and there's a river with like an old train line that runs over it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like my symbol for Kenosha, like this weird industrial path.
Up there kind of by Birch Road up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice spot to feel like you're in a different place and, also ride your bike there.
Yeah, cool. Your favorite Kenosha museum?
I mean, I gotta just go with the Public Museum. I love the giant fish. Our Public Museum is awesome.
All right, cool. What's your favorite local place to see a band?
Oof. It's changing. I would normally actually still say Sassy. Like, I really enjoy that environment and having a cocktail and listening to some jazz, but I think Public's kind of killing it right now. Okay. I think the Public stage is pretty cool, so I might change that.
Yeah, that's awesome stage room they have there.
Favorite pizza place in Kenosha? Yeah.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball here.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna say that it is a tie, but I'm only gonna name the one that maybe. So my tie is between Casa Capri. And Storino's.
Dino Storino, baby.
I had never been to Storino's, and Dino blew my mind with some pretty incredible pizza.
He's got some good homemade stuff.
He made me eat like 1,000 things, though. He made me try everything, and but it was pretty incredible.
He really totes his meatballs.
I had to try the meatballs. Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite Kenosha event?
Favorite Kenosha? I'm gonna say Pride.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm excited for that to come back this year. There's a lot of really cool Kenosha events, but Pride's a blast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's the drunkest you've ever gotten?
I once lost my keys and had to climb the roof when I lived above Sassy and fell through Danny Weber's room ceiling because I couldn't. It was dark, and so I just crashed through her ceiling, and then she just woke up and went, "Ricky," and then she turned the flashlight on, and I said, "Thank you, that's very helpful," and I just left.
That's great.
Okay. Have you ever dined and dashed at a Kenosha restaurant?
No, I don't think that. I think I'd rather die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I often sometimes drink too much and then I'm convinced I didn't pay my bill, but it turns out that I usually did. So
The best is when you forget your card there. You're like, oh, where's my card? Did I pay? I had too many drinks with that pizza.
my future wife refers to it as when I drink too much, I get annoyingly considerate, which I think there's worse things to get. But that,
Right.
I will argue to the death that I did not pay my bill or tip enough until someone shows me a receipt.
All right, what was the last great meal you had in Kenosha?
I went to Red Oak for brunch yesterday.
Ooh.
I know it's Kenosha County, but it is always delightful.
All right.
Beef tips and eggs,
Ooh,
spectacular.
just the tip?
Just the tip. And the eggs.
When's the last time you rode the streetcar?
God. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be a Kenosha.com story. Ricky rides a streetcar.
I took a picture of a streetcar driver recently, but I did not get on it. I'm gonna say pre-COVID, to be honest with you. We used to, whenever they did like the events, I'd like to take the kid for the Easter Bunny and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah. Okay.
God, yeah, it's pre-COVID for sure.
Yeah. Well, me too, so.
All right, which now closed Kenosha business do you wish you could bring back?
Other than Nook?
Yeah,
Yes.
besides the Nook.
All right. You Superb Grill Barbecue.
Which one was that?
Yeah, I'm trying to blank.
So he's a Harbor Market guy.
Oh, okay.
But he had a location, and this is why it's closed, because he had no idea how to market. You'd never know it was there. But in
he
that gas station by Holy Rosary,
22nd, the old Lou Preeney's?
yeah,
Yeah.
like, but I don't know, it's blue, the blue
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
My favorite barbecue, I miss it substantially.
Okay. When is the last time you swam in Lake Michigan?
I was in a canoe in it yesterday.
Hey,
does that
count?
all right,
Sure,
yeah.
yeah.
I am a Lake Michigan swimming and participating fan. It's. I know it's cold and people think it's gross, but it's also the dopest natural resource we have.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. All right, where in Kenosha would you recommend someone going on their first date?
Common grounds all day.
Mm-hmm.
Too simple? Is it too simple of an answer?
No.
All right.
I'm glad you touched on it because we didn't even praise Bobby during this.
Oh yeah, but we should. Bobby, you probably. I don't know if you have a computer or if you're going to listen to this. Bobby taught me everything I know: the good, the bad, the ugly, and the sexy.
She's a great woman. I love her so much.
What is the one thing you wish you can change about Kenosha?
I think it's something that's already changing, but I wish that people in Kenosha could appreciate how great our city really is before they leave it. And that's myself. I did not enjoy the city as a young person until I started traveling and experiencing the rest of the world. I didn't know how cool we really have it. There are so many worse places, and there's so many great things you love about other places that are just right in our backyard. So like a video education that everyone has to go in their like high school of learning about how great their city
I
is.
like that.
That'll probably work. It works for sex ed, right? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
All right, and which Kenosha bar do you think you spent the most money at?
I've supported quite a few of them. Over the years, I'm going to say Captain Mike's.
Okay. This one might be tough to keep it simple and basic. What's the most important lesson you took from the civil unrest last year?
I'll keep that simple. That's easy for me.
Yeah.
The lesson I took is that Kenoshans are, in their heart and in their core, amazing people that want to do what's right to fix their community. I think that there are a lot of hard issues that can be listed as causes or responses. When the chips are down, more people showed up to help than we knew what to do with.
Yeah.
And that is what I will never forget about that day.
All right. And then the big debate in Kenosha, big star of the spot.
Trying to get me killed. I'm not getting advertisement from either of these guys now. I just moved to the south side. We were on the north side for a long time. I gotta go Spot. I like the Big Star in a different way, but I think overall it's a meatier, more delicious experience at the Spot. And I can walk there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
There you go.
All right,
And that was the Quick Connects brought to you by the Downtowner Saloon. Go have a drink or enjoy some of that smoked meat at 707 56th Street. That's the Downtowner Saloon.
Formerly Pazos.
Yeah, hey. that's
Do you know?
right.
Do you know the secret code? The other name for the Downtowner? Downtown lingo. It's the Rootin' Tootin'.
Oh.
Because you have a Rootin' Tootin' good time.
Hey, I like that.
We should have put that in a copy of the ad.
Yeah. Remember even when we wrote the commercial we recorded earlier?
You just bring me by, give me a beer, I'll tell you all the things I know.
Jason, what time is it?
It's time for trivia. Trivia is brought to you by Lulu Birds, located at 720 58th Street. Are you looking for that perfect gift for someone special, or maybe just yourself? Stop in at Lulu Birds and check out their newly expanded storefront with double space for more great treasures.
Lulu Birds blends the old with the new to bring out that unique personality.
Joy and her staff are always bringing in new items, so their ever-evolving inventory will keep your attention with every visit.
Stop on by Lulu Birds on 58th Street in beautiful downtown Kenosha for a fabulous and unique shopping experience.
All right, now it's time for the trivia. And Ricky, we know you're a foodie, even though you do love and support Kenosha businesses. We're all guilty of stopping at one of those big chains once in a while. And after all, these big name franchises, they support the community. They hire local people. They pay their taxes. So they support local in their own little way. Kind of.
Yeah. I'll bite.
All right. So for today's trivia, we're going to see how well advertising has warped your little brains with restaurant slogans.
Oh.
So I'll give you a popular slogan, and you provide me the restaurant. For example, if I say finger licking good, you would say...
Jason Hedman?
Yeah, KFC. So is our 5 questions for each of you? The winner takes home the big prize.
Oh.
So Donnie, we're going to start with you so you kind of know what's going on. Donnie, you deserve a break today.
Kit Kat.
Oh, no, these are restaurants for one thing,
fuck.
so you're wrong.
God,
But
see how bad I am?
it's McDonald's.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
Ricky, you might know this one. Your way, right away.
Burger King?
You got it.
Hey!
There you go.
All right.
So you're up 1-0. Say it's easy. Donnie, I'm throwing you a real softball
Oh,
here.
perfect. Can't wait.
Think outside the bun.
Think outside the bun. Captain Mike's, our great fine sponsor.
Come on, man.
Think outside the bun. I got nothing. What is it?
It's Taco Bell, you idiot.
Oh, fuck. I don't eat meat.
They don't-
Taco Bell has one of the most vegan-friendly menus for any fast food
I'd also
restaurant.
argue the thing they serve is not meat.
Yeah,
And I eat it all the time. That's not me dogging Taco Bell.
That's a good point.
All right, Ricky, number 2 for you. Think fresh, eat fresh.
Subway.
Ah.
There you go.
The
See?
way of the sub.
Yes.
Up 2-0.
I wonder
Donnie?
what Jared's up to.
I'm not sure I want to know.
Donnie, we have the meats.
We have the meats. I know this one. We have the meats. Arby's.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, 2-1. When you're here, you're family.
Oh,
That's racist. Olive Garden.
All right. Ricky's up 3-1.
I better get something going.
Do you know what the children's menu mascot is at Olive Garden?
No, what?
Ricky Ravioli.
Hey!
Donnie,
Named after you, right?
Yeah, it was inspiration.
here's one for you. Hot eats, cool treats.
Dairy Queen.
All right, see, there you go. 3-2. Ricky, you're young, so you might not know this one, but
No.
where's the beef?
Right here, bitch.
Yeah, I feel like that was just like a USDA beef commercial. I have no idea. Beef is what's for dinner is what I'm thinking of. I don't know where the beef is.
Wow. Wendy's.
Wendy's.
Where's the beef?
It was that old lady,
Yeah,
right? And they
yeah.
had that old lady. Where's
That was before your
No,
time.
that sounds
see?
familiar now that you told me that, but-
Yeah. All right, you're still up. 3-2. Donnie,
Okay, I'm going to
number
tie
5
it up
for you
here.
right here.
I'm going to tie it up.
This is the hard one I threw in here.
Oh,
Welcome to Delicious.
it's delicious.
It's a local chain. I mean, it's a local business that's in Kenosha here. A chain.
What is it? Welcome to Delicious?
That's what I said, yes.
Cousin subs.
You were close with the name. It was Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. Ricky, let's see if you get the last one here. You'll love the stuff we're made of.
God, I'm so bad at this
don't
this
even know
fast
this
food
one.
game.
Love this.
God, I can't even think of another fast food
Well,
restaurant right now.
you won anyway, so
Who hot?
it's Pizza Hut.
Hey!
I did have a tiebreaker here. It's for food for people who love food, which is Qdoba.
Qdoba?
Yeah. So Ricky, you won the trivia game.
That is
you beat
a miracle.
Johnny.
And
you won a.
You won a free cup of coffee with any purchase at Common Grounds, located in beautiful downtown Kenosha.
Well, that'll be easy for me to use when I'm
you
there
go.
twice a day.
Yes, go get that free cup of coffee with any purchase at Common Grounds.
and they are located at
Yeah, I don't have that in front of me.
The end of 52nd Street.
5159 or something like that.
They're on
Right where 52nd Street meets.
We really
meets
should've-
I still
7th
remember the
Avenue.
phone number since I worked there. That
Oh, yeah.
652-0111, I'm
Perfect.
pretty sure.
Give them a call and find out where they're located. They have the most beautiful view around. I mean,
Common Grounds is located at 5159 6th Avenue,
There,
so
that's
go
pretty
grab
good.
that coffee.
All right.
Well, congratulations, Ricky. You are the winner of trivia that was brought to you by Lulu Birds.
It was a sloppy win, but I'll take it.
Hey. And we also need to thank our sponsors.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Bluehorn Digital,
Union Park Tavern.
CarBox,
Lucci's Grandview.
Faded Barbershop for Men,
The Downtowner Saloon.
and of course, Luigi's Pizza,
The Lettering Machine.
Common Grounds.
And Lulu Birds.
Oh, thank you all so much. Hey, Ricky, that was so fun. Thank you for coming in. So people can go to cutstoneFoods.com, Kenosha.com, downtownkenosha.org. They can see all about you, right?
I'm in a bunch of places on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, you're everywhere.
Don't dig too deep.
Yeah, you're everywhere. Anything you want to plug last minute before we say goodbye?
No, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Hey, that was real fun. We really got to know you, and I hope all of our listeners had a great connection with Ricky.
So, Donnie, I got to ask you,
Yeah, please do.
what are we doing here?
I think we're connecting Kenosha.
See you next time.
I'm from Kenosha, I say Kenosha, that great big busy town. Right